I saw running backs lining up everywhere. I saw tight ends flexed out. I saw a couple of plays that were similar to what the Saints ran. Mainly the Terrace Marshall touchdown on the under screen. He came underneath in motion. They threw him the ball, had blockers. The timing was a little off because you want to hit that guy right when he comes to the first blocker. The Saints scored twice on that last year. Mm-hmm. Michael Thomas had 2 touchdowns on it. And what that's going to do is that's on film now. So the inside guy on the slot's going to crash that. Well, they're going to send one of the blockers over to the corner, and the Saints scored on that in the playoffs. That's what you're going to be able to see. You're going to see plays building off of other plays. I don't know why they put in Clyde Edwards-Helaire at quarterback and ran a read option with Burrow, but guess what?
It worked.
They're going to throw the ball out of that 7 or 8 weeks from now. I mean, it was everything. Pretty much everybody in the stands caught a pass.
Yeah.
You know,
I caught one, you caught one.
Yeah. I mean, it was incredible. 14 guys caught a pass. There were 14 guys that caught a pass last year. Just a couple of stats that I saw. We talked about Derek Stingley and special teams. We had 52 punt return yardage in the game last week. We had 99 the entire season last year. Mm-hmm. So it's already, we've already eclipsed pretty much. We're probably going to eclipse it this week. I mean, it's phenomenal. We saw the ball spread around again, 14 catches. Justin Jefferson still led the team in receptions, but he had 5. He didn't have 9 or 11. He had 5. You had a couple guys with 4. Terrace Marshall with the ultimate just productivity ratio with 4 catches and 3 touchdowns. I mean, that's what you want. The defense was fantastic. They allowed 98 total yards. Look, I know it's Georgia Southern, but this team runs the ball. They don't throw it well, but they run it, and they didn't do that. They didn't do any of that. They had 98 yards. Jacob Phillips and Damon Clark were all over the field. I mean, it's just every time you looked up, they made a tackle. Defense forced 2 turnovers. Caleb Chason, one of the guys we talked about last week, had a sack taken away because of the delay game. Well, the next play comes and just murders the quarterback, knocks him out of the game. I was excited. It's the most fun I've had
definitely
at a non-marquee small school game ever. I stayed for 000 on the clock. It was so fun. Mm-hmm. Obviously this is Georgia Southern, and this doesn't mean we're going to beat Bama, or even this week. This game is not going to just bring any momentum. It'll bring some momentum, but it's not going to be any indication of the rest of the season is going to go. But what it does do, it gives you the confidence as a fan, mm-hmm. Hey, this is different. This is what they said they were going to do, and they did it. So when you do that, then you instill confidence that, hey, we do have a chance because our offense isn't in the Stone Age anymore.
And that's arguably more important than momentum on the field.
Yeah, because obviously they're going to run into games where it's hard to move the ball. I mean, they scored 42 points in the first half. They're not going to score 42 points tomorrow in the first half. I hope they do. But, like we had said as well, Joe Burrow during the offseason said, I want 40, 50, 60 points a game. And I was like, okay, man, let's just score some points. It's 28. I'm not going to argue with the guy anymore. He scored 42 and a half. They could have left him in and scored 80 if they wanted to.
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
The offense shut it down in the second half and still, kind of moved the ball and kicked field goals, which Cade York, we talked about him last week too. He's more than capable of taking over for Cole Tracy. That's the guy you need going in on the road to maybe kick you a game-winning field goal.
Yeah, that's something I was personally worried about with the impact Cole Tracy had last season, and I think Cade York has already proven himself in one cupcake.
And he's a freshman. And,
exactly.
He nailed the 48-yarder, and he had 7 extra points. So he got his practice last week. And Zach Von Rosenberg hit punts. He averaged 52 yards a punt, I think. So special teams, we'll get into this game in a minute, but I think special teams, you're not going to see as big of a drop-off, and it's improved because of the punt return. So now, with that said, we will get into Texas. And, Keith, I'll start with you. They were 10-4 last year, 7-2 in the conference. They lost to OU in the Big 12 title game, 39-27. And then they went to the Sugar Bowl, and this is kind of where it started. They beat a Georgia team that, look, Georgia had back-to-back years where they had Bama literally stepped on their throat and just apparently slipped on it and fell down and crashed. You could say they checked out of the Sugar Bowl, but look, Texas beat them. They beat them 28-21. And then Sam Ehlinger proclaimed that they're back. Are they back? Keith, I'll start with you. What do they have coming back, first of all, and who are you looking for tomorrow to see if they're indeed back?
Well, the big name, of course, is Sam Ehlinger. As he goes, the offense seems to go. Possibly the most talented dual threat quarterback we'll face all season, putting up just incredible numbers. What you got to look out for is that the running back room in Texas is very very shallow. They only got one returning running back. The rest are out with injury, and the backups are all converted running backs. So that's definitely one to look out for. You got to watch for Colin Johnson and Devin Duvernay and the whole wide receiver core. They're fantastic. We got to lock onto those guys. And on the defense, they lost a majority of the defense this year. But one notable name is safety Caden Stearns. He's one of the best safeties in the country, really, next to Grant Delpit, really. And an underrated linebacker, really under the radar, Jeff Vasai at linebacker is definitely another player to look out for on the defense.
Yeah, this defense replaced 9 starters, and this is from a defense that allowed 26 points a game and almost 400 yards per game last year. Last week, they gave up 340 yards against Tech. I know they won 45-14. Tech had 3 turnovers, but they gave up 340 passing yards to Louisiana Tech. That's the first thing that stuck out to me. Courtney, this Louisiana Tech team wasn't the same team as it was last year that we played. They lost a lot. A lot of people are saying this is a down year for the Bulldogs. Does this problem that Texas faces in the secondary, what do you think LSU has to do to take advantage of this? Because we saw what LSU did last week throwing the ball, in the first half, almost 300 yards. Do you think that carries over for tomorrow?
I think this week is really going to be the test of defense because it was Georgia Southern. We weren't necessarily holding them back from anything but one field goal. And so I definitely think you're going to see an actual test of the defense this week because, number one, what I just said, number two, they got a fire under them with the DBU shirts. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah,
are we avoiding it?
No, we're getting into it because I've marked this down. This is the Tom Herman Bowl. This is the battle for DBU. I mean, this has been going on. And look, I'm going to go ahead and advocate for this. We need home and homes. We need to do away with the neutral site games because home and homes are awesome.
Yeah. The 30 for 30 about this game in 10 years is going to be so good.
And next year's. I mean, think about it. We get to do this again next year. It's fun for both of the fan bases because we haven't played since the Cotton Bowl. And I remember Roy Williams went absolutely bonkers. And LSU had a good team that year. So this is the first time we've played them since then. And, these are 2 storied programs. So this is good for college football, especially this early in the year. I mean, this arguably is the best game of the season.
Oh, I think it's excuse me, I fully believe it's the best game of the season. You've got these 2, as you say, storied programs from different conferences with a rivalry that goes beyond football. I mean, you see Texas and LSU fight over everything. And so you've got a rivalry that goes beyond X's and O's, and I think this should be a home and home. I'm so excited we get to do it again next year, but wow, this is going to be a game.
Yeah, and getting back to Texas, like you said, Sam Ehlinger's the guy. Coach O compared him to Tebow a little bit. He saw similarities. And look, he had 26. He had 25 touchdown passes last year, 16 rushing touchdowns. So, like you said, Keith, he's very much a dual threat guy. I think it starts with him. I think if you stop him, I think LSU's going to be fine. What he did against Louisiana Tech, there was a lot of short passes, a lot of short stuff. They need to make him uncomfortable, and that's going to start with the defensive backs, and we'll get into that too. Like you said, Colin Johnson he's an NFL talent. He's 6'6", 220. It's almost 70 catches last year, 7 touchdowns. That guy's going to be, he's going to be the guy. And the running back room, like you said, there's Keontae Ingram. He had 700 yards rushing last year. He's pretty much their guy. It's pretty unknown after that. This game, I think, it's the best game. Obviously, if we're highly ranked and then Florida's coming up and then Bama, but just from a non-conference game, this is the best game I think college football's had in a few years. I mean, it's games like this are so fun because we don't get to play these teams often, and in the regular season, this game also means if you lose this game, your season's not over.
Yeah, I'm glad it's so early in the season because we have a lot going for us after this game if something were to go wrong in this game, and that's something that I'm really hopeful for because I am confident I'm going to be picking the Tigers at the end of this. But if something does go wrong, we have so many more games that can boost us back up.
Yeah, and I remember a couple of years ago when Ohio State lost the first game of the year to Virginia Tech, they went on and won the national championship. But, like, this game is not going to be any indicator of what you look like at the end of the year. But it can help you as far as if you win this game on the road, you've got a road win at Texas, and whatever they do, if Texas loses this game, they could win their conference. They win the Big 12, and you're like, oh, well, you beat Texas, and that's the Big 12 champ. Or if you lose there and they're the Big 12 champ, like, you lost to the Big 12 champ on the road. So there's a lot of things that go into this that aren't going to make or break your season. But, man, for both programs, it would be a huge win as far as a resume booster for when the top 4 comes out. With that being said, I do think that LSU has better talent this year.
Yeah.
This game tomorrow, I think LSU is coming in with the better team.
Yeah.
I think Texas is still a year away from being what everybody thinks they are right now. I don't think they're probably, they're the 9th ranked team right now. I think they're somewhere 12 to 15. Next year, with that being said, if Ehlinger was to come back, they might be a preseason, top 3 team.
So that's something where we almost need this game so we have the momentum when we have them. Is it early on next season as well, or do we have a later game?
I think it's one of the first ones.
Okay, yeah, so that's something where you almost need this win so that next year when they come to your turf, you have that energy.
Yeah, and I think that the roles are going to be reversed. I think LSU's going to lose a lot this year, and Texas should be pretty loaded. They're going to come in similar to what we're going in with, I think we're the better team personnel-wise. I think next year they'll be the better personnel team. But the factor is home. At home, that place is going to be rocking.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and all it takes is a turnover here, a special teams play there to flip the game. With that said, LSU can control. If they control what they do and dictate the game, I don't think it's close. So we'll get into some players to watch. Keith, we'll start with you on offense. Who do you like on offense to watch this week?
Just really as a whole, the whole wide receiver core. I'm curious to see how they do against the self-proclaimed DBU of Texas secondary. Really.
Yeah, so I had a great week last week. I mean, you saw, like I said, we 3 caught passes, I think, as well. I think they had kids down at U-High catching the ball for them, too. I mean, it was phenomenal. So, Courtney, who do I even need to ask?
Yeah, I was going to say, do you even need to ask? But I know I say this every week, like, oh, even if I don't pick him, I'm going to pick him. But Joe Burrow, with his history with Herman, with his impact on this team, he's gone up against SEC defenses. He's gone up against defenses when he was at Ohio. Now he gets to go up against Big 12 defenses. He keeps just getting these new challenges thrown at him, and he's not even flinching.
Yeah, he since last year, he has come on so well. He set a record. I think he was the first LSU quarterback to throw for 4 touchdowns, I think in 4 straight games or something like that, and including the one last week. He threw 5 in the first half. So he was going to be my pick as well, but I knew you were going to do that, so I didn't go there because we've seen him play in big road games already. The only thing that I worry about him is turning the ball over. I think he has thrown an interception in every road SEC game he played. Avoid the turnovers, and I think we're fine. With that being said, my players to watch on offense isn't a player. It's, like you said, the wide receivers. I'm going with the offensive line. They allowed no sacks last week.
That's a good pick.
They're still kind of unproven. They're going to get a test this week, especially with crowd noise. Just the defensive line for Texas is kind of, it's an unknown, it's unproven, but LSU's offensive line is kind of unproven. Obviously everything worked last week, but I think that group is going to determine whether or not LSU can control this game. Defensively, Courtney, I'll start with you. Who are your players to watch defensively?
So I have a couple of players to watch on the D, and it's mainly because, I know we talked about this a little bit earlier, but Texas and Texas and Louisiana have this inherent rivalry, and we have so many men on defense who, when it came down to their senior year of high school, they're between LSU and Texas. We have so many Houston, Dallas, so many Texas boys on defense, and so our entire Texas
So you're just saying the Texas LSU players on defense.
Yes, and I know that's vague, but I was talking to them on Tuesday, and they're all ready to go home and show why they came down here to the Bayou, if that makes sense.
Yes, so that's pretty good. I like it. There's so many. We talked about. There's so many storylines within the game, games within the game, storylines within the game. I mean, obviously the Herman Orgeron one's going to be beat to a drum all morning tomorrow on game day. Keith, your defensive player or players to watch?
Well, I was going to say the secondary because they have a tall task with the wide receivers, but I'm actually going to go with Grant Delpit because he's going to be up in run support and trying to contain Ellinger, so I think he's going to be a big factor.
Yeah,
Texas boy.
Look, I have here DBU because look, I honestly think that we have better defensive backs. We have them in the league.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I don't think you can beat DBU allowing 340 yards last week to Tech. My two guys to watch are Derek Stingley and Christian Fulton. They pretty much could have laid down and took a nap last week because they didn't really throw the ball. Derek Stingley didn't have a tackle because he didn't have to have a tackle. Christian Fulton, they threw, I think, one to him. He almost intercepted it. Look, they're going to be tested, and I've already seen that Texas already said, I know what we've got to do this to move the ball, and it's attack Derek Stingley. Okay, that's fine. That's good and all. And I get it. He's a freshman, but good luck. If you're not going to throw to Christian Fulton, which I wouldn't do that, well, if you want to pick on Stingley, go ahead because, I'm sure he's going to catch the ball and take it the other way. So good luck with that. The other guy is probably been the spokesperson of this trash talk for our side this week is Caleb Chason.
Yeah.
Look, he's not back down from saying that they don't have a chance. He doesn't care. Like, this is what we're doing. I'm not stepping back from it. I like that. I hope he backs it up because, man, he looked good last week in limited action. So those are mine, the offensive line and battle for DBU. Before we get into our predictions, it was announced that Matthew McConaughey was picker for College Game Day, if that was even going to be a question.
All right.
If he doesn't say it on College Game Day, I'm turning it off.
He's probably going to.
He probably will.
Best Matthew McConaughey movie, in your opinion, go. Your favorite, maybe.
Okay, y'all go first because I'm going to have to think
Keith,
on it.
go ahead.
We Are Marshall. He was in that, right?
Yes, that was him. He was coach.
I like that.
I'm a Matthew McConaughey guy. I think he's great. True Detective, he was fantastic in. The Interstellar, he was great. Look, he won the Oscar for Dallas Buyers Club.
Yeah, there's something I love him in that I'm blanking on.
Well, for me, it's the Lincoln commercials. those are the greatest
movie,
30 or 45 seconds of television commercial, cinematic masterpiece. You call it whatever you want. It's fantastic. It's going to be fun, watching him on there because he really does love and represent the university well. He's teaching a class there. That's pretty cool. So it's going to be fun, and it's fun when all these famous alums from the schools get together, and do stuff like this. So he's going to be there, and I'd love to maybe shut him up, and, we'll see where that goes.
Time to Kill. That's my favorite Matthew McConaughey movie.
There you go.
I had to look it up.
You went on IMDb, but that's okay. Yeah, he's great. He's good. Apparently he doesn't wear deodorant, so that's weird. Just look that up. So Matthew,
it's going to be dangerous with how hot it's going to be in Austin this week.
So before we get on picks, that's another thing I didn't get in. It's going to be 1,000,000 degrees there.
I'm worried.
Who does that affect more as a unit, the offense or the defense?
The fan base.
Oh, that's true.
No, I'm worried.
Please hydrate. Please everyone, water.
Genuinely, I think it's going to have more of an impact on the offense.
Really?
With the running game, with these boys who aren't really used to it, our quarterback is literally from the north.
Yeah, the north.
They are going to have to be staying hydrated with our big Planet Fitness fans.
Yep.
I'm a little concerned.
Yes, so I think it's the defenses.
Same.
Because the reason is if you watch LSU's offense, the way they run it, there were so many times where Burrow was pleading with the referee to give him the football, get off the ball, let me snap it last week because Georgia Southern didn't sub. The rule is if the offense subs, the defense gets to sub. If we don't sub and just go, they're going to be exhausted. Texas's defense is going to be exhausted. That's why we need to sustain drives because that could wear them down. I don't think it affects one team or the other because, look, it's hot here, it's hot there. We've been practicing in it. They've been practicing in it. I just think that the defenses, same with us. The thing that I think we have the advantage of is our depth defensively.
Yeah, the depth is insane.
Is probably better than Texas's depth on defense.
Yeah, no doubt, yeah.
The high is 102 in Austin right now.
Yeah, and at 6 o'clock, it's going to be 104 at kickoff, and that's at kickoff at 6. And they said field temperatures could be somewhere like 120. Look, let's just play that thing indoors, Let's just go play it somewhere, like in the gym or something.
In the gym.
But no, I think it affects the defenses, which gives LSU the advantage because they have more depth on defense, and we will see that maybe, be a factor. So let's get into the picks this week. Last week's results, I went 6-3. Courtney was 6-3. Keith, you rode the Ole Miss bandwagon, and that put you at 5-4.
Yep.
So we had a couple disappointments. Courtney, you were on the South Carolina disappointing bandwagon.
Yeah.
But they lost, and I was too. So, look, and we picked Kentucky, and I added them this week, but there's a catch. So first, we'll go ahead. There's a few good games I picked this week. Number 21, Syracuse goes to Maryland. Maryland is a 2-point favorite. Syracuse beat Liberty last week. If you didn't see, please go look at the Hugh Freeze hospital bed saga.
It's so funny.
They didn't. Us three right here could have coached the Liberty team and did just as good as Hugh Freeze. They scored 0 points.
Yep.
He wore a visor inside.
Yep.
This week, they're going to ULL. They're bringing a dentist chair, overnighting it for him to coach in. And they asked him, he said, I'll be there. I mean, it's incredible. I just can't get it. With that said, Syracuse at Maryland, who wins?
I'm going Syracuse.
Keith, are you taking the Terps?
Syracuse very close.
Yep, I think Syracuse goes on the road and gets it done. This one will be good at 2:30. I don't know how long. Number 1, Clemson hosts number 12, Texas A&M. A&M comes in almost 17-point underdogs. Keith, do they stand a chance this week?
No, I got Clemson pretty big.
I got Clemson, but this is my potential upset of the week. I've got Clemson in my pick'em pool for the points.
Yeah.
But I can see Texas A&M stepping up before they go into a really tough season.
Oh, yeah, this is the first of, we'll get to it later, on the season, of a brutal schedule for Texas A&M. I think Clemson wins big, too. You remember this game last year was in College Station, and it came down to Kellen Mond fumbling the ball out of the end zone. They called a touchback, or they'd probably won that one. Let's get to the next one. Number 25, Nebraska goes on the road to Colorado, who is 4-point underdogs. Does Nebraska get the win here?
Very close, Nebraska.
Yeah, I'm going the same thing.
Yeah, I think for some reason they were ranked in the top 25. They were 3-9 last year, but look, that's why we do these things in the preseason. The only SEC game on the schedule is Arkansas at Ole Miss. Ole Miss is favored apparently in this game. Does Ole Miss get their first win against the Hogs?
I'm going Arkansas. Honestly, I talked about this on my podcast. There's just no heart in Oxford right now.
No, look, they're in Tennessee. Man, prayers sent. I'm probably going to go Ole Miss just so we can be different and, see what happens here. Keith, what about you?
Ole Miss just because they're at home, yeah.
Not that matters. There might be 14 people in the stands.
That's generous.
Number 23, Stanford, is traveling to USC. USC is 3-point favorites. I think JT Daniels is out for the season. It's devastating for the kid. He was, looking to take the next step. He was like 17 years old last year starting. And Stanford, if you hadn't seen it, the all-time bad beat in the Stanford Northwestern game last week. They won, but, it was bad. Does USC pull the upset over Stanford?
I'm going to go USC.
All right, Keith, what about you? Do they rally around and win it for JT?
Oh, I like Stanford by a field goal.
All right, I'll take Stanford as well. The other sad sack of the SEC, Tennessee hosts BYU. BYU got annihilated by Utah last week. I watched that. They're not very good, but neither is Tennessee. Tennessee's 4-point favorites. Do they win at home?
Oh, that's the thing.
Do they win at home? They played at home last week.
Look, I'm going BYU.
Okay.
I hate Tennessee. I always have, but even if I was Rocky Top born and raised, this is a sad
It's
Tennessee.
a disaster. 6 coaches, I think, in 10 years is what I heard yesterday.
Steve Spurrier said, let's start calling them Rocky Bottom.
Oh, wow. I love
want
him.
a shirt that says
The
Rocky
old
Bottom.
ball coach. Vandy's at Purdue. Purdue lost last week. Don't know how. Went to sleep. They were up. Does Vandy pull it off on the road? Purdue's touchdown favorite.
Purdue.
I think Vandy's having a good season, but I'm going Purdue.
All right, I think me as well. Then we'll go. I'm keeping this on because I want them in a bowl game, and we're good luck. Yeah. Kansas hosts Coastal Carolina. Kansas, Les Miles picked up his first win back in college football last week. It was awesome. They had a pick 6 by a guy named Defense, which is wow. Like his last name is Defense.
Oh, yeah.
He gets the pick 6. Don't know how that happens.
I'm naming my son running back.
Yeah, I'd name him like Millionaire or something. Let's get it going. Does Les Miles get this win here against Coastal Carolina, the Chanticleers?
Yeah, Kansas.
All right, yep. Good luck, Les. So I put this on here for you. Kentucky hosts Eastern Michigan. Here's the catch. You have to pick the points. Kentucky's 15.5-point favorite. They got it done last week against Toledo. Somehow it was tight. Do they cover?
I'm going to go 24-3.
Okay, so that's the cover.
Opener at Kroger Field, Commonwealth Stadium.
Kroger Field.
Whatever. We call it Commonwealth Stadium. I'm always going to call it Commonwealth
That's
Stadium.
right. I don't like the corporate names. It takes away the legend pageantry of the places. When they rename Lambeau Field, it's gonna be
Hey,
a
but at
cold
least
one.
they have Coinstar inside.
Keith, does Kentucky cover here?
Barely. Yeah, I think they covered.
All right, and I think I'll go Eastern Michigan just so we can mix it up again. I didn't say they wouldn't win.
Rude.
And for the one we've all been waiting for, LSU, Texas from DKR at 6:30 tomorrow night. It feels still an eternity away. Texas is at 6.5-point underdogs at home. Keith, what do you think happens here? And I need a score, sir.
I got 38-27 LSU.
38-27 or
Yeah.
30-27?
38-27, they cover.
So they cover. Courtney, what do you have?
35-24.
Okay, I think we're kind of on the same page here.
And Bev gets loose again like he did in the bowl game.
Oh,
Bebo.
Bebo and then Georgia. And, yeah, at least we're not taking Mike because that could be dangerous. Look, I said it earlier on the show. I think that the Tigers are better. This year's Tigers are better. If they control and dictate the game, I don't think it's close. I'm going 31-17 Tigers, which means probably won't be that. I'm hoping it's 51-17.
Honestly, with this offense, it will probably be 61-17.
Yeah, I mean, if it's up to Joe Burrow, that's what he said. For Keith Fell and Courtney Brewer, I'm Sean Larken. We will see you next week, hopefully recapping a win against the Longhorns, and we'll be previewing the Northwestern State Demons. So,
is that their mascot?
Oh, yeah, Fork 'em,
that.
Fork 'em, baby. That's what it's going to be next week here. We're hoping to be celebrating another win up in Austin. So, again, for Keith Fell and Courtney Brewer, I'm Sean Larken. This has been the KLSU Tailgate Show on 91.1 KLSU Baton Rouge.
Go Cats.